Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope you're doing well. We're back in August, and it looks like quite a few gig workers have returned to the workplace. Now, this story has a lot of twists and turns. This Uber executive, Anthony Levandowski, whatever his name is, now sentenced to 18 months in prison. He has to pay $756,000 to Waymo. He has to pay another restitution, another fine of $95,000. And maybe for good behavior, he might be in the slammer for 12 months. He'll be out again with his family. He's apologized to his family. But this Uber executive, right, let's just go back a little bit, who was brought on board by Uber, steals trade secrets, software from Google Waymo, brings them across to Uber. They obviously made him the fall guy, right? He goes down, and he now turns around and sues Uber for $4 billion. Like, hey, you guys threw me under the bus. I'm going after you. So he might have the last laugh here, right? He's going to sit in the slammer. He knows 12 months will pass by. Hopefully he doesn't die during. Dustin is driving. How are you, buddy? You got the opening message. I'm driving through very overcast weather to work on my Bel Air again. Very quiet month so far, August, Dustin. I don't know what it's like on your end. But I just thought this story was interesting, Dustin, because it was once again, no mercy, steal, whatever you have to do to grow the company. And now the guy that they sort of put in place to get them some of this software from Google Waymo, thinking they were going to get away from it, he ends up suing them for $4 billion. So let's see who has the last laugh here. I sort of expected the stock to go down a bit after that announcement. Quite the opposite. The stock went from about $30 something up to $33. Just had a hurricane hit me and had no power. Damn, 12 hours. How do you do 12 hours without YouTube, 12 hours without light? How did the kids handle it? Well, did it happen during the night, in the morning? Did you have to light any candles? Wow. Hurricane hits them there on the East Coast. I hope it wasn't too strong. I hope it didn't do any damage to your home. I know you got a new home there. So we pray for Dustin and his family, and all of the others involved in that hurricane, that they get through. No lives are lost. They don't lose their businesses. They don't lose their homes. And may they be protected, right? But was hell. 11 a.m. Wow, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's like literally the entire day and most of the night, because you sort of usually go to bed after 11 p.m. So probably a couple of hours of darkness and just the windows pounding. I've only been in one hurricane in Cape Town, South Africa, and it wasn't fun. So I can sort of relate to your story. I don't know what category that hurricane was at the moment that it hit you or hit your house, but that's not fun, right? As a parent, you're obviously thinking, number one, safety kids. Hopefully it passes by. And it's a rather stressful situation, right? I think the roof is going to come blowing off your house, or the windows are going to break in. So I hope that passes by and there's really minimal lives lost and minimal damage. That's all I can say when it comes to hurricanes. So we're with you. Now, back to this story, this Anthony Levandowski story. I don't know how he got to the figure of $4 billion. He ends up suing Uber. Again, the lawsuit didn't really affect the stock price, but sort of what I take away from this is that Uber just cannot get out of lawsuits. And if we dig deeper, I think it's just got to do a lot with the culture of Travis and Travis 2.0, which would be Dara, that they will do anything at any cost and face the consequences later, right? Let's do the mischievous, let's do the shenanigans now, pay the price later. Whatever it takes to grow this company, whatever it takes to infiltrate markets, whatever it takes to get data or steal, beg, whatever you have to do, they truly don't mind facing the music later, the legal quagmires later. That's sort of just the impression that I get from Uber. I don't really, Lyft is not the little golden child, and let's not pretend that they are the little angels, but I don't think they are as bold and daring when it comes to taking risky legal moves that will get them into trouble. Uber was probably hoping they would get away with this, and then this whole thing blew up. Now the guy sits for 18 months in prison, ends up suing them, and it's yet another lawsuit that has been filed against Uber. I also foresee several COVID cases coming against Uber. We only hear of the ones that make it out in the media. Behind the scenes, you truly don't know how many small or medium or large lawsuits have been filed against Uber and Lyft. But drivers are wisening up. Many drivers have moved on. Many drivers have done their buffering. Verizon is suffering. Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't go down too many times. But this little area here is notorious in the canyons, Malibu, Calabasas. So reception is really crappy in this area. But what I was saying about the never-ending lawsuits against Uber and it's crazy. You pay over $100, $140 for Verizon and for unlimited streaming, etc., and they go down all the time. So I guess those are the pros and cons while you're driving. That you're driving through different patches. You go up, you go down, you go in, you go out. But back to the Dustin story, if I can finally finish it. They Lyft wrongfully deactivated them, and I'm sure Dustin had a lot of outstanding monies owed by Lyft, and hopefully he pursued them legally, just like many drivers do. They want to get their money, right? They want to cash out. So Anthony Levandowski, without doubt, wants to cash out. My guess is they threw him under the bus. They made him the fall guy, right? They very well knew that he was bringing across all the software, etc., all this tech that he stole from Waymo, from Google. They knew that. And then they point the fingers at him. And then he turns around and says, hey, not so fast, buddy. I'm now suing you for $4 billion. That's not a small amount, right? $4 billion with a B. Not million, billion. And in the scheme of things, I mean, he's made his money as an executive. He pays a $756,000 fine. I'm sure he can digest that, right? He pays another 90. He has to pay that to Google Waymo, and then he pays another $95,000 fine. So he's in for about $850,000 in fines, 18 months in prison, which will probably turn to 12 months. Hopefully he survives that during COVID in prison. You know, might get stay-at-home time with a little bracelet. So life is not going to be too bad for Levandowski while his attorneys battle out a $4 billion lawsuit for him, right? But again, it's all in the culture of Uber and Lyft. Lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. They won't go away. You know, another thing that I would be curious about when I'm talking about Uber and Lyft lawsuits, I know that Trip is being sued or has been sued by Taha and a lot of other drivers that were given endless promises by Trip. I call it, yesterday I watched Bob and he wasn't looking healthy, by the way. He was looking very, very unhealthy. There's something wrong with his health. He's sitting in the park there with his two little poodles doing Bob's broadcast. I call it the BBB. Bob's billionth broadcast, BB right? It's the same regurgitated, vomited out nonsense that he spews in all of his broadcasts. Coming soon, coming soon, coming soon to a theater near you, coming soon to a theater near you, coming soon to a theater near you. It's not easy to say that 10 times fast in a row. Try that. And still people defend him, right? People that see him as the money's been taken out of their account, and they just watch video after video. They watch the BBB channel, Bob's billionth broadcast channel, BBBC channel, and hoping that their pipe dream materializes. Good luck. Right, so that we were talking about rideshare lawsuits. It's not only Uber and Lyft that face them. There's other companies as well. Now, I'm down on my way down to Long Beach, gassed up the Cadillac. Interesting that on a full tank of gas, I get 590 miles, which I don't think is bad for a big 6.2 liter engine. I don't even have my foot on the accelerator. And this thing is going 76 miles an hour. I mean, I just touch it. If I touch it, boom, it goes straight up to 80. Just even remotely touch it. So I'm surprised that the mileage is still this good on this car. So feel free to share the video, and I'm super curious to hear who is returning to their gig work job now that the PUA has run out. But I believe they are scrambling this week. It's Mnuchin, Meadows, Schumer, and Pelosi. The four are really trying to scramble to get something signed, right? Because they got to get it signed. Otherwise, they come back, Senate closes down, and they have to come back in September. So it's like, get this deal done at whatever cost, so that people don't get evicted, people that are out of jobs get paid. So there's a lot of key players here that have to sign off on this. You got Mnuchin, Meadows on the one side trying to hash it out with Schumer and Pelosi. Then Mitch McConnell sort of has to give it his blessing. Then it goes to Trump. And I'm sure Trump will sign off on it, because money in people's pockets means that they might vote for him. Cutting people off from money, I think, means votes against him. So I'm pretty sure he's keen to get that bill and get it signed. But we shall see. And hopefully they come up with bigger and better plans to, you know, put a seal on this COVID so that we can slow the death rate down, and we can eventually get everybody back to work, and we eventually can get our children back to school at some future date, right? So I'm all for us, Republicans and Democrats, working together. Let's make this happen. And I'm glad that they finally acknowledge the masks, right? I'm alone in the car, so it's just me, myself, and my mask. But I'm glad that they're acknowledging the masks now and trying to at least convince some people to wear them. No matter what you think or feel. So stay protected. I saw that driver yesterday who tried to stay protected with his barrier that he bought for $25. Car, he taped it and sealed it all up. And I'm sure you saw that video where that drunk kid tore it down and choked him while he was driving. And there was a little 7-year-old in the car screaming and crying. Anyway, the guy got arrested. He's up for child abuse. He's up for battery. He's out on a $7,500 bail. And it's not going to end well for him. And I'm sure he will face a lawsuit from that, I think it was a Lyft driver. So we'll see how that story goes. But you got a drunk person in your car, boy, you're going to have troubles. Especially when they are picking a fight with you. You know, the red light's got to go on. And in this case, the guy was having a little back and forth with the driver, couple of F words, then saying you're lying. You know that trouble is coming. You know that trouble is coming. So that was an interesting one. Anyway, what do you think about the Anthony Levandowski verdict? The judge said it sends a clear message to anyone that is remotely thinking of stealing data from a company, from any tech company. Think again, because you'll end up in prison. Now, my version is that Uber made him the fall guy, and he's not happy with that, so he turns around and sues them for $4 billion. And in that lawsuit, I'm sure he's going to reveal a lot. You know, he can probably reveal in his testimony that maybe Uber encouraged, maybe these are just thoughts that I'm speaking out loud, that maybe Uber encouraged him to steal that tech, to steal those trade secrets. He just didn't do it on his own, you know, and maybe he can prove that he got hired by Uber as an executive because he could bring in this so-called data or these trade secrets from Waymo, Google. We shall see. But I think he has a good chance of winning that. And I think the last laugh, you know, after the guy hopefully survives COVID in prison, I think he's going to have the last laugh because he's going to be receiving money. And it sounds crazy, man. There's a lot of twists and turns to the story. But it's all over the news. So if you put in Google Uber News, I will guarantee you that the main story of yesterday and today is this Uber executive getting 18 months. You know, and maybe, who knows, Travis or Dara, maybe they tied into it. You know, maybe a lot will come out, but I'm sure they're trying to seal this information as best as possible, right? I'm sure they're trying to keep the lid on this information. They don't want too many names mentioned, but through this lawsuit and through the discovery, I'm sure that several other heads will roll at Uber. He's not just the only guy, you know. Sure, he's the fall guy for now, but I believe strongly that other heads will roll. And I don't know if that dates back to Travis or this is on Dara's clock. We shall see. All of that is going to come to light during this new $4 billion lawsuit that he filed. But for now, the guy has to do 18 months. And as mentioned before, I think it'll probably be 12 months if he shows good behavior. But the judge definitely sends a message to any future engineer, to any future executive. You steal data, you steal trade secrets, you pay the price. And prison is definitely not a place you want to be during COVID. Unless they maybe give you home confinement. You can't leave the house. It's not too bad. I mean, you could live in your house for 12 months while you're ordering food. Right? Doable. Not the worst prison sentence. So how is everyone today? I'm not sure why messages are not showing up, which I found rather strange. Somebody said yesterday that they were not able to write comments in the field, so I'm going to have to check those settings again. I haven't changed anything, so should be open comments. Usually by now I know that we have more than just one person commenting. It's very strange that Dustin is the only one commenting. Just wonder why all the other subscribers are not able to comment. And hit me up via text or email if you're trying to write a comment and you're not getting it through. I'd be very interested to find out if that's the case. Thumbs up, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Stay safe. Hope your family is safe. And a big question I have, are you returning back to the gig economy, or have you moved on? Or are you still staying at home and playing it safe? So if anyone could just write a brief message so I could see that this works, anyone. But I find it rather strange that the comments are not coming through. Number 5, I welcome you. 5 people in the house. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Another, area you get a lot of information from if you jump into the Facebook groups or Facebook city groups, whether it's for Uber or Lyft, you get again, Verizon is suffering. We're cruising past Hollywood right now. Hollywood! Very overcast day. This place that I'm going, it's about a 2-hour wait just to get your parts. 2 hours. So you've got to pull a ticket, and I've got to be prepared to sit around for 120 minutes. Yeah, I'll use that time to make some videos, to read. I'm sure we do a lot of interesting things in our downtime, right? While we're sitting in our car. Highway is pretty open. Cruising along here at 76, 77 miles an hour. Driving past Vivid. Vivid is one of the biggest, I cut into my lane. Vivid is one of the largest porn producers out there. Even says on the building. Very nice, charming, right by the side of the highway. Hollywood's a crazy place. Hollywood is indeed a very, very crazy place. So my son had his first 2-hour training lesson driving yesterday. Signed him up for 6 hours. That's $400, a lot of money for 6 sessions. But you know, it's pretty cool. You got your accelerator, your brakes on both sides. Instructor sits next to you. I was surprised that the instructor doesn't have his own steering wheel. It just looks like he has his own accelerator and brake pedal. But my 16-year-old reported that he felt that he'd learned a lot. And then instructor says, now you got to do like another 15 hours with him before we schedule the next session. Interesting. When you see people drive for the first time, especially when they're teenagers, they tend to drive slow, 30, 40 miles an hour, because they're very careful. And when I asked my son, so what did the instructor say? He said, yeah, you know, the main complaint was that I drove too slow, 20, 30, sometimes 40 miles an hour. You know, they're very hyper alert in the first 2 hours of training. And I'm sure you can remember that, right? Your first sort of on-road, side road driving experience was sort of like hypersensitive. Can anybody write a brief message in the comments area? Nothing's showing up, which leads me to believe that something has changed on my settings. You can text me or email me and let me know if you're trying to put a comment in and you can't. Now, I know Dustin has his own channel, and he was literally the only guy to write 3 comments so far. But it's rather interesting that the comments are not showing up. And by the way, I am not blocking the comments. People can write as much as they want to. You know, freedom of speech. Go ahead. You know, share, suggest. Stupid idiot. I can't stand it when people on their cell phones and then they drift into your lane. Because it sort of pushes you out of the lane now. You don't want to drive into the other side and hit someone, because then you're at fault, right? So let's say someone on the right comes drifting into your lane, you try to avoid it by going left. Your fault if you hit someone. So in LA, boy, that's what you have to look out for. People on cell phones. They love their cell phones. Wow, 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 all day long. All day long you will see these LA people on their cell phones. Wherever I look, left and right, people are on their cell phones. I can see the LA skyline downtown. I'm about at Silver Lake Boulevard, Vermont Avenue, Hollywood on the 101, LA skyline in front of me. Okay, somebody just wrote a message. Edward says, you are alive, CT, remember the storm. You are alive, okay. Yep. Cool, somebody else managed to get a message in there. So it looks like the messages are working. Edward just write a message. I mean, it's 10:30 almost 10:30 a.m. in LA here on the West Coast. So it's sort of like peak driving time if people are out there, which sort of leads me back again after Verizon is buffering. That's the thing I gotta admit, it drives me crazy. You pay so much money to Verizon, and there's so many spots in LA, in Los Angeles, that don't offer non-stop connectivity. Sucks. So we're off with the magazine to get car parts today. Dropped about $1,000 yesterday on a new differential and bearings. Ay. Didn't expect that. You know, like an unforeseen cost. $1,000. Boom, gone out of your account for a differential. Gears, just to replace gears and bearings for a 1955 Classic. Mohammed, greetings. I'm sad for that, what happened in Lebanon. Yeah, that's, boy oh boy. They had all of that stocked. All of that highly explosive chemical stocked in a warehouse right down in the port of Beirut. It's extremely sad. And then something ignited it, so they're obviously doing the research. President declared state of emergency. A few hundred people dead, thousands of people displaced. I mean, the shockwave of that, you guys saw the explosion, right? It was caught on a couple of cameras. You could see it on Twitter. You could see it in the media. There was a massive explosion that blew a massive hole in the port. A whole area in the port. Massive hole. I don't know what the chemical was. It was something like nitrate. Anyway, highly explosive chemical that had been stored in this warehouse for years and years. Who knows what's behind it? Why was that specifically blown up? Were people using that? Who knows? But that sent shockwaves through Lebanon, through Beirut. It was really sad. My heart goes out to those people. So yeah, and Mohammed's right. On top of COVID, now that, I mean, that's like a economic knee jerk, right? Just like getting both your legs hit with a bat, COVID, and then this bomb going off. I mean, people being displaced, families. Crazy times. There was one insane explosion. The amount of chemicals that were stored in this warehouse for years and years. I mean, I wonder what one little something triggered the explosion. So they're investigating that now. What caused that warehouse to ignite? And you see the shockwave go over the city. Did you see the footage of the shockwave as it traveled over the city? Like one guy was filming from an elevated area when the shockwave hit him. But boom! And I know what that feeling is like, because when I was in the army, I was in a building up on the 10th floor, 9th or 10th floor, headquarters downtown, and they planted a bomb some Russian limpet mines, and they blew up the first and second story of this army headquarters. And then the shake that went through the building, and all the glass blew out, and you're lying down on the floor with all the glass. It was not fun. I was in that explosion, but I was up on the 10th floor. Now on the bottom floors where the shockwave went out, a couple of city blocks, it blew out all the windows, this one explosion. And they say it wasn't even a really, really big explosion, but it affected the we never found out if anybody got killed. It didn't look like it. Looked like a lot of people got injured. But I mean, you talk about city, like a couple of city blocks, all the glass just blown out onto the street. So there we were. We had to stay in the building, and you know, they were bringing in the bomb squads, making sure no second explosions were going off, because very often if you react to the first explosion, they will set off, triggered second explosions to do more damage. Wasn't the case. It was just a couple of Russian limpet mines that were rigged together, and the attack was by the ANC, by the African National Congress, and they were trying to terrorize, put the fear into the nation. So they attacked a SADF, South African Defence Force headquarters. And like I say, we're up on the 9th or the 10th floor. I think it's the 10th floor. And reception and second floor were hit most hardest in this explosion. But that thing in Beirut and Lebanon yesterday was thousands and thousands and thousands of times more severe. That was a big explosion. You can watch the footage, really. There's some people must have been filming on their cell phones, but you could literally, two people, maybe they were out in their hotel balcony filming. You just suddenly see this massive explosion going out. Poor and pathetic of Verizon, because within a 40-minute trip, I mean, not even 40 minutes from now, Verizon has gone down 4 times, and they can't plug those areas to continue connectivity. No, it goes down. And each time it goes down, people leave the room, people start trickling back into the live feed, and the feed goes down again. We're on the 5 going towards Santa Ana. Traffic is moving smoothly, cruising at 65 miles an hour. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Please stay safe out there. Wear your masks. Disinfect your vehicle, your seats, your seat belts, the handles, inside, interior handles, out, exterior handles. Get it all sprayed down or wipe it. Wouldn't suggest spraying Clorox, because it really stains your vehicle and stains the paint after a while. Not a good idea. I mean, it works, it disinfects, but powerful stuff, that Clorox bleach stuff. I've seen people spray it. Restaurant or in a restroom, at a gas station, you'll smell the strong Clorox bleach smell. People know, well, they're great, it's clean, it's been disinfected. Our mind tells us that immediately, but in the car, it may not be a good idea, because you will literally stain parts of your car. I see a big Kobe mural on the wall. Somebody did a nice graffiti. It looked pretty cool. Reminds you how short life can be when you see these murals. And I'm going to wind it down here. I'm going to have to figure out what's exactly going on with the live feed. The problem is that a lot of people have complained that they weren't able to right now. As far as I know, the settings are still the same. I'll double check it. And the story of the day, this Anthony Levandowski guy gets 18 months. He's the fall guy for Uber. Yet another big lawsuit. He files a $4 billion lawsuit against Uber, probably for throwing him under the bus. And I'm pretty sure a lot of names are going to come out during the discovery. A lot of Uber names are going to be mentioned. Sort of want to know if it happened under Travis's clock or Dara's clock. We shall see. All of that will come to light. But he got $756,000 fine. He has to pay Waymo, Google, another $95,000 fine. He's in for about $850,000, 18 months prison time. And maybe he will have the last laugh because his $4 billion lawsuit proceeds against Uber. And maybe he's going to try and prove that it was them who lured him in to Uber, as long as he brought along those trade secrets and that data. We shall see. I mean, these are all hypotheticals. This is just my opinion. But something doesn't smell right there. Something smells very fishy. Exhausted. All right, my friends, my amigos. Let's see where I am right now. There's a big Home Depot here. I want to sort of mention a exit, maybe somebody knows it, on the 5 South. Roads are terrible, and that's mainly because of the trucks that travel on this road. The roads are absolutely pathetic. I see a big Angels baseball billboard, and I'm down here by Slauson Avenue and Paramount Avenue. If anybody lives close to that, I'll give you a shout out. Slauson Avenue off the 5 freeway. And all big rigs around me, and roads are terrible. Big craters in the road. Not good for the car. Thank you for watching. Muchas gracias. Spasiba. Dankeschön. Merci. Mille grazie. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Stay safe. Catch you soon. And let me know if you're back to work.